Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mariah and I talk about books and bookish things on this channel. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I really enjoy interacting with you guys in the comments and I really appreciate all of my new subscribers. So thank you so much for coming back. In the United States on Thursday, Thanksgiving is happening. And Thanksgiving is a seemingly innocuous holiday that is based on a convenient lie. The idea is, for those of you who don't live in the United States or aren't familiar with the idea of Thanksgiving, that the Pilgrims landed on the Mayflower at Plymouth Rock, and the local tribes were there to help them through their first winter, and they all sat down for this big dinner and gave thanks. What isn't told is that that isn't quite exactly what happened, and there is no real evidence that the first Thanksgiving ever actually happened. So, instead of celebrating a holiday that many feel they are excluded from and the real history of is erased, I'm going to highlight 10 books I want to read by Indigenous authors. These are both Canadian and American authors. And I will leave the titles that I mentioned down below, as well as links and links where you can find more information about various movements, and I encourage you to do your own research for these. First up is Split Tooth by Tanya Tagaq. I might slaughter these names, in which case I'm really sorry. So this book is a part memoir, part fantasy, part myth, and part poetry, and it tells the story of a girl who's growing up in the 1970s in Nunavut, which is in Canada. And she both loves her community and hates it. She suffers both trauma and grows from her experiences. She can also see the spirits that surround her, and when she becomes pregnant, she's forced to find a way to navigate all of this. There was a quote I wanted to read. It says, "Veering back and forth between the grittiest features of a small Arctic town, the electrifying proximity of the world of animals and ravishing world of myth, Tanya Tagaq explores a world where the distinctions between good and evil, animal and human, victim and transgressor, real and imagined, lose their meaning, but the guiding power of love remains." I think Lala from Books and Lala read this book and really enjoyed it. Next is a new release, Elatso by Darcy Little Badger. And it is a story set in America where things are a little strange. They've been more shaped by magic and myth than they have by technology. And this creates some very charming everyday things, such as summoning a ball of light or traveling the world through fairy rings. However, there are also some very dark undercurrents that should never see the light of day. Elatso is a Lepanapatchi girl who has the ability to raise the ghosts of dead animals, and when her beloved cousin is brutally murdered in a town where they don't want the facade broken, she must face real danger to rip the picture away and reveal the undercurrents, or reveal the brutal truth of the town of Willoughby by relying on her wits, skills, and friends to protect her family. It sounds amazing. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I'm so excited to dive into that one. Next is The Marrow Thieves by Cherry, Cherie, Dimmeline. It is a post-apocalyptic novel about a world that has been ravaged by global warming, and people have lost their ability to dream. Now this causes widespread madness, and it becomes known that the only people who have retained their ability to dream are the North American Indigenous population. They begin to kidnap various people or recruit them and take them to the marrow stealing factories where their marrow is extracted and a cure for dreamlessness is developed. Now, the story centers around a 15-year-old and his companions who are struggling to avoid this and reconnect with loved ones and hide from these recruiters. This sounds brutal and beautiful and horrifying, and I really look forward to expanding my post-apocalyptic thriller / horror category with this book. The fourth book on my list, I took notes this time. The fourth book on my list is Mong Girls by Stephen Graham Jones. This is a coming-of-age novel that centers around a boy who has been traveling with his aunt and uncle, avoiding something on the road. Late night calls has led them to up and move in the middle of the night. This comes with a lot of poverty, and family isn't truly accepted. Now his aunt Libby and his uncle Darren are keeping a close watch on him in the recent days because they wonder if he's going to become like them or if he belongs to society across the track. Libby and Darren are Mong Girls in the sense that they are mixed blood. They're neither truly this or truly that. And as the main character's potential change creeps closer, they're also forced to face something that they've been running from for a long while. This is a werewolf novel and is Stephen Graham Jones' first werewolf novel, and I'm very excited. I love Stephen Graham Jones and his work. I've read 2 of his books this year and have absolutely loved them. Next is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I don't feel like I have to talk about this too much because this is everywhere in the BookTube and Book Twitter and Bookstagram. It's just everywhere. Everybody seems to be reading this book, except for me, because buying books is not a good idea right now. Pre-Columbian cultures inspired fantasy set in the holy city of Tova, where the winter solstice is a big celebration every year. Except for this year. This year, the winter solstice coincides with a solar eclipse that priests say is going to cause serious instability and unbalance the world. Meanwhile, a ship launches from a distant city on the way to Tova and is captained by Ziala, who is a sort of siren. Her song can tame the waves around here just as easily as they can warp a man's mind. On her ship there is only one passenger named Serapio, and he is a blind, scarred man who is shrouded in mystery. And if there's one thing that Ziala knows, is that sometimes somebody who's described as harmless is far from that. I've heard nothing but good things about this book so far. I really want to pick it up. I really want to read it. It's definitely going to be on top of my list of books to buy for next year. Number 6 is Murder on the Red River by Marcy Rendon, who is an award-winning playwright and poet. And it's a murder mystery that stars a young girl named Cash Blackbear and her unusual friend, Sheriff Wheaton, and it's set in Fargo, North Dakota. Sheriff Wheaton and Cash have a very unique relationship. He pulled her out of the wreckage of her mother's vehicle when she was 3 and has been looking out for her ever since. All he wants for her is to succeed, and Cash is a tough as nails, no nonsense type of person. This friendship somehow leads them to an empty field where they find the body of a man from the local Red Lake Reservation. As Cash begins to dream about the man's house and his family, it becomes apparent this is where their search for his killers needs to start. It's a long and dangerous road to find those killers. This is her debut novel. This is Marcy Rendon's debut novel, and it sounds like a great murder mystery, and I'm really looking for it. Kind of all sounds like a magical realism almost. I'm just really looking forward to reading this. It is on my list as soon as I get through it, I swear. Next is Moon of the Crested Snow by Wabgeshig Rice. which is a post-apocalyptic thriller set in a small northern and Anishinaabe community. One day, with winter looming, this small community's power just goes out. And at first everybody's kind of passive and confused, and then the food starts running short. Community leaders are struggling to maintain order, and then a mysterious visitor shows up and is quickly followed by others who are escaping the crumbling society to the south. These new visitors are wresting control very slowly but surely away from the traditional community leaders, and a group of friends turns to the land and traditional values to sort of regain their sense of community and regain the community that they lost. This sounds great. It sounds heartbreaking and thrilling and terrifying. And I think it shows how people will take advantage of any situation to take power. Next is Bone Black by Carol Rose Golden Eagle. Written Strong Eagle doesn't believe that official sources are taking the reports of missing and murdered Indigenous women seriously. This is even closer to home after a night out with her twin sister Raven. Raven goes missing. When Wren files a missing persons report with the local police, she's dismissed and she becomes convinced that it's not going to really be investigated. As she watches the news and sees more and more of these reports, she realizes her heartbreak is shared by too many families and entire nations. She decides to take justice into her own hands. Slowly sinking into darkness, she struggles to come to terms with what she's doing, and every step and every decision seems to be guided by something. But what is it? This sounds fantastic. I really love murder mysteries, although I don't read them a lot. I'm coming to really enjoy them. So, another great thriller that's on the list. Number 9, Five Little Indians by Michelle Good. This is a book told from alternating points of view by 5 former residential school students as they struggle to survive in the 1960s, Vancouver. One is finding her way quickly into the dangerous world of the American Indian movement. One is finding unexpected strength in motherhood, and one cannot escape from his demons. This was inspired by the author's actual experiences. A quick explanation: residential homes were a system of boarding schools that were set up by the Canadian government and administered by churches that ripped Native children from their homes and their communities and stuck them into a school to try to teach them to assimilate into white society. The stated purpose of these schools, which was admitted to in the 1990s, was to kill the Indian in the child. The American Indian movement was a grassroots is a grassroots organization, I should say, that focused on issues that Native communities were being faced with due to colonialization, such as treaty rights, high unemployment, education, and cultural preservation. Finally, Those Who Run in the Sky by Aviak Johnston, which is a teen novel following a young shaman by the name of Pitu. A strange and violent blizzard leaves him stranded on a patch of sea ice, and when he looks around, he realizes this isn't his world anymore. The storm has swept him away into the world of spirits. This world is populated by dangerous beasts such as black wolves with red eyes who hunt him, and mysterious creatures or water-dwelling creatures who want to grab him and pull him down into the frigid sea. But it's also populated by some amazing creatures, such as a giant who can hold Pitu in the palm of her hand and keeps polar bears as pets. Pitu meets a fellow shaman who's been trapped in the world for many years, or in the spirit world for many years, and realizes that he has to master all of his shaman powers if he ever wants to return to his world, his family, his community, and the girl he loves. This sounds really cute, and I really look forward to reading it. There is a sequel, Those Who Dwell Below, So I really want to look at that one too. I'm really looking forward to reading all these books, and I have some honorable mentions as well. Arctic Dreams and Nightmares by Alutuk Ipeli. Absolutely anything by Stephen Graham Jones, because like I said, I've read 2 of his books this year and I'm absolutely in love with his writing style, and his brand of horror is just terrifyingly perfect. It's so good. And finally, Ta'achtumi, an anthology of Arctic horror stories, which is a short story collection set in the Arctic, which sounds amazing. Those all sound amazing. Or this holiday season, I really urge you to look into what's going on around the world and to become more of a global citizen, to become more empathetic to those that are going on. There's typhoons that have devastated the Philippines, and the government isn't using the resources wisely, which are leaving thousands of people without homes. There were a ton of artists on Twitter that were doing free giveaways. There's book giveaways trying to encourage people to donate, but I urge you to donate as well. Look into what's going on in Nigeria, in Palestine, in Peru, in Yemen, around the world. There's so much going on. Even in our own backyards, there's homelessness and poverty and COVID, and Indigenous communities here in the United States have a higher national average for COVID cases. The Navajo Nation has the highest rate of cases in the world, and there is no federal money coming to them. So not only is there unemployment and alcoholism and poverty and lack of good schooling, now they're being faced with something that could kill them. This holiday season, your gift to the world should be to become a global citizen. It's the younger generation, such as my generation, I'm 28, who can really make a difference in the world upcoming and who can force change in the world. And that starts with knowing what's going on and becoming a global citizen. Black lives matter, LGBTQIA lives matter, and Indigenous lives matter. So please diversify your bookshelves, give what you can, share information, and learn. Learning is free. There are so many books about the topic, there are so many web pages. Please, please, give. And even if you don't have the resources to give money, give a little bit of time and a little bit of empathy to the world. And just by doing that, you've already started to make it a better place. With that being said, no beverage tonight. I hope you guys have a safe and okay holiday season. I really look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday with my TBR game, so please stay tuned for that. You can find me here on this channel Sundays and Thursdays. You can find me on my blog Mondays and Fridays, and you can find me on Instagram, theoretically. You can always find me on Twitter at Mariah's Notes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and comment down below, and hit that bell if you want to see more of my content to get notified when I post. All the best coffee, wine, and books to you.